You are welcome. It's a good day to be alive and well.
Hello.
She's here already.
Good afternoon to you.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thank you
You're welcome.
for honoring
How
our
have you been?
invitation. So this is your face, eh? Fine, fine, fine. We've been fine. Though. I'm trying to. Hey. Okay.
I know.
So you can imagine what happened to you has just happened to me too.
Of course.
Hey, it is well, though. Our, our Nigerian system, it is well. So good to have you today. Thank you for joining us. I'm trying to link it with on Facebook as well. Please just give me a moment. Sweetie, you're shouting on your voice. Okay. Just a moment. We will be live in just a moment. Okay. Hello, everyone. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's a good day to be alive and well. How's your day been? How's your day been? Hope you fed our baby well and she has eaten well enough. And she will not start disturbing you. So we'll have enough time to drill you
too many holes
and ask you all the questions that we want to ask.
Don't make too many holes with your drilling.
Sorry? Oh, okay. Now we'll try not to. We'll try not to. It's just not responding to me, but let's move. We'll go. We'll get it right another day. Every other thing is ready. It's just for it to go live and start filming. I'm so sorry I've taken time. Okay. All right, so it's all good and well. You're welcome. Thank you, Izogi, for joining us. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. So today we have our guest here. Our guest is very on time. Our guest is ready to share a journey with us, right? So let me just quickly read up a profile so that we'll get rolling with the questions. No, she's ready, and ready. All right, so our guest today is Miss Nkechi, and she is a highly qualified preschool teacher with extensive experience and certifications. She has a strong educational background in business education and educational management. Um, she has also taken part in numerous professional trainings to enhance her teaching abilities and all that. So she's a skilled communicator, and she loves to deliver lesson plans that align with the common core standards and yield positive outcomes. So the important thing is to yield positive outcomes in the learners. So she designs her lesson plans in such that she will yield positive outcomes. And she's adept at utilizing differentiated curriculum to cater to the diverse learning styles and needs of our students. So she differentiates her learning so that every child is well attended to, and ensuring that the information is effectively retained. It's not just engaging the learner, it's also for the learner to be able to retain the information. So she does that so well. She's also known for her exceptional classroom management skills, creating a supportive and conducive environment that fosters learning and growth. She's deeply dedicated to working with preschoolers. Like, she has a passion for preschool. She doesn't want to leave preschool at all. She's dedicated to working with preschoolers and is committed to providing a high quality learner-centered instruction to optimize success in the early years. All right, please join me as we roll it up for our guest today. Roll it up, 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 and let it go.
Thank you.
You are a superstar. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So we have lots and lots of questions for you. Firstly, just tell us, how did your journey start into this education, this teaching space?
My journey started as, let me say, something. It was voluntary. It wasn't like something I wanted to do as a profession. It wasn't something that I saw myself doing in the long run. I always had the dream of being an accountant. I already planned the journey, the goals, everything on how to get to the level I wanted to get. But on the side, I found myself teaching in different areas, working with younger ones, trying to bring understanding to different types of learners. It was just something I loved to do on the side, but it wasn't part of my goal for my life. I don't think it's something I saw myself doing in this future where I found ourselves right now. But along the line, when at some point coming to going to school, getting admission and all that, you know how the Nigerian factor can be. You write jam, do this, and one thing happens here and there, and just say, okay, like majority of the teachers out there would do, let me just teach till I can get something doing, or till I gain admission, or till I do something else. And when we started doing that professionally, I found out that I had someone that was willing to push me and say, this thing you're doing, you do it very well. There's a passion and there's a drive to go beyond what you're already doing. I would advise that you make it more professional. You get a qualification for it, so you don't just do it anyhow. You do it the way it's supposed to be. And that's how the journey started officially. At first, it was voluntary, let's do it on the side. And in the long run, it became something we do professionally.
Oh, wow. From accounting to teaching. And now you are stuck there. That you so much love the preschool and you don't want to leave preschool. They've now become your lovers. Right? Okay, so very interesting. So in In
over
your journey
10
now,
years.
how long have you been in this system?
Let's say all in all,
Oh, wow.
professionally and when we're still playing with it, let's say about 13 years.
So you started, you were playing with it, you just didn't know if you really wanted this. It was just, okay,
Exactly.
while I'm waiting for admission or while I'm trying to do, let me just test this ground.
Oh no.
And then you came into
Yes.
it and you realized that, I have passion for this. I have passion for this, and it's no longer a
Especially
trial
when
and error thing. This is the real thing.
especially
This
when
is
you're in
where
the
I
system
want
and
to
you
be.
see
And
people
you
do a lot of things
continue.
that are not supposed to be done, and you feel there are better ways to do those things. You just feel like, okay, I think there's a part I have to play in all this. Let me just remain here.
Wow. Okay. So please, can you tell us some of those things? Some of the
Okay,
things
so
that
it's a scenario where you
inspired
see
that.
teachers just, like I said, do it just because I want to earn a living, or I just want to bear the name of a teacher. Let me just be someone that has something that gives me money at the end of the month. You are not bothered about whether the children here are learning. Just at the end of the session, they move on, an asset comes, you spend time with them, they move on. There's no real impact. There's no relationship. Even the parents that drop the children in your care are not bothered about whether they're learning, as long as they leave their care and they rest till they get back from school. So all those things they seemed wrong, and I felt there's a need to bridge all those gaps and do things the proper way. So for making research, you see that looking into all those things, connecting, networking to people that do it, looking for people that will mentor you, people that are doing it the right way, you discover a lot of things, and naturally you just want to pass it on and make it a better thing, a better profession.
Wow. Thank you very much. Like for everyone that's come here, it has always been transitioning from where it was or what they've met on ground to making it become better and enviable, so that at the end of the day, the outcome is what really matters. The outcome will be on yourself as an individual and also on the learners as they get along the line. Now, can you describe your journey? So you came into it, you started, you enjoyed, you stayed in it, right? Are there been instances where you felt, oh, like regret, or I couldn't, maybe this thing is not paying me as much as accounting would have been paying me, or it's just so much about passion. Is this passion is not rewarding me? Like, just describe what the journey has been for you, the experiences you've had that has made you know that, okay, I'm in this for
Just like
real,
we
and
have
then
people
there's
that
no going
motivate you
back.
to continue, we also have people that will want to make you stop instantly and just go back on whatever passion. And sometimes you just wonder, is the passion really worth it? Especially when you find yourself in a profession where, in a country where it's not even, nobody recognizes it, except today where awareness is becoming, is is more, and people are beginning to regard the profession. You just feel like, can this even pay my bills? I want to live a soft life too, so why would I remain as a teacher? Let me go out there and do something else, do something better that will pay me. So scenarios like that can be discouraging. Also, when you have people that think that you do too much, maybe you're bringing ideas just to make that environment better, and people around you are looking like, why is this one giving us more work? Why are you making this easy profession more tasking? Why are you making more demanding? And everybody around you is like, this one is after our peace. Those scenarios can make you just feel all alone and feel like you just want to leave. But at the end of the day, when you see your learners become better, and at the end of the time with you, you have that peace that you have done your part, and the children look at them and you feel that joy. You just have to continue. And not only the children, you see teachers around you become better versions of themselves, do more. Those that are willing, do more. And there are people on the side giving you thumbs up because you are making them proud. So you just feel like continue. You have no choice but to continue and do more.
Wow, thank you very much. You know, when you mentioned the fact that when you give more work and then some teachers will just feel like, ah, this one is doing too much and all that, that kind of energy, like it may want to discourage you, like, ah, let me just space my own lane and all that. But you see, you cannot be an exceptional teacher if you don't put in that extra work. If you just come and Shebi is to come and teach, let me just teach and go. You need to go the extra mile. You need to put in that extra effort to be an exceptional teacher. And at the end of the day, it would always and always differentiate you. It would always and always set you apart. It would always and always make you the different person. Initially, it may not seem rewarding, like if you are listening to the naysayers and all that. But in the long run, when you see the results and the outcome, you will know that it was actually worth it at the end of the day. Yeah. Thank you very much. So can you share a memorable or a rewarding teaching moment that you've had? What are the memorable moments? I know you've said you love to work with the preschoolers. Like, okay, so now it's a two-in-one question. Why preschool? Why did you choose that for yourself? And then secondly, what are the
Okay, I'll start with
memorable
why.
moments that
Why?
you had
Preschool, as we all know, is the
preschoolers?
foundation. If it is gotten wrongly, then every other thing built on it is shaky. So let's just say we are trying to do our part to make the foundation solid and give them the right start. There are a lot of things that if they don't get at that early stage, it becomes a challenge when they go ahead. So the foundation, I feel, is very key, and it's easier. Let's just say it's easier to give to children that are willing. Whatever you give them, they're able to accept. They accept it the way you give them, as much as you give them. There's no limit to, there's nothing like you're pushing me too much or it's a lot of work. As long as you bring it, they're willing to take. They just sponge it all in. It's fun to see how much these young ones can take in. Whatever challenge you bring their way, they're willing to accept. That's why, basically, because it's the foundation. Then a memory event, can we count it all? Their joy is every day. There are some things you don't expect. Surprises every day. Sometimes things you don't even expect from some learners. I remember a girl that was almost 5, and yet she wouldn't say a word to anyone. And it was one day I just got to work and she just came and said everything I've been telling her for the past 3 months, all at once. That kind of event is hard to forget. And there are children that will not show interest in learning. And one day, suddenly, like one light bulb was switched on. They just do everything you have been expecting of them. Those events are memorable. Basically, it's just the joy of seeing children respond to what you're giving them.
Thank you very much. I like the fact that you mentioned going to the preschool is so as to get the catch them young, like build that foundation. So, but now I have a question about building that foundation, right? I can quite relate with building that foundation because sometimes when I used to teach year 4 to 6, and you realize that there are some concepts that they should already have known that they didn't know, and you now start going back to teach those concepts before you move forward to teach the main topic. So it was quite exhausting at that point. That was one of the reasons why I came back to the early years and all that. But now coming into the early years, have you not thought of, okay, we are teaching preschool. Preschool is like the very, very basic of school. What about the next level? Have you thought about it? Would there be a challenge like, okay, I've laid this foundation. Is it going to be a source of concern to you that would the teacher in the next level continue to build on that foundation, or would there be a bridge or to that foundation that you've laid and what you've been expecting from that
I
child?
encourage
I don't know if
people
you
around me,
understand
teachers
what I'm
around me
trying to ask.
collaborate a lot, talk to each other. There's no competition. It's very annoying when you see teachers in the same environment compete on who is better and who is worse at the job. I feel everyone should work together to achieve the end result. There's nothing wrong in giving feedback, working together. Feedback is very important. Collaboration is very important. This is how I continue, because every child is different. You don't expect one person and to just pick up a child and do whatever. If there's adequate feedback from wherever the child is coming from, the teacher is expected to know where to continue from. That is where feedback and that collaboration helps. Also, I like something that Finland does. I've forgotten the term for it, where a teacher grows with the children till they leave a certain stage. For example, I start with a child in playgroup. I take the child up on to reception till the child is ready to go to the grades. I think the main reason why they do that is so there's continuity with that child. There's no bridge. The child learns everything for that age frame, and there's no delay or interruption with the child's progress.
The aspect of continuity is very, very important. Like our guest last week said something about noticing the obvious change in character, in performance of our learners when she had the opportunity to take them from year 4 to year 6. So she was the same teacher with the same set of children. She just moved on, did year 4 with them, did year 5 with them, and did year 6. And the thing that for some of our learners, the things she wanted them to achieve in year 4 that they weren't able to, she started seeing it in year 5. Do you understand, when they were in year 5? So just imagine if she had not continued with those sets of learners. At some point, probably maybe she would have thought, oh, those changes or those results never came and all that. But because she continued, she was able to see that it actually came. So I think that is a very, very good concept of like continuing with a set of learners. But then you now ask, okay, so if every teacher continues like that, how do you balance the system? So there are different sides to it and all that. How do you now balance the system if you keep continuing with your
way
set
they
of
do it.
learners?
When you
like
get,
I don't know.
You have to study
It's
actually.
something that needs to be
when they get to nursery reception or nursery, to depends on how it's called, they go back to pick a new set. So each teacher keeps going, they go back, come back again, so it continues like a circle. But I doubt it'll be effective in our system where you don't know who is coming back tomorrow because of the environment we find ourselves in. I think they have more stable teachers because they handle their teachers better. I would say that.
Yeah. Oh, very, very important. Okay, so thank you very much. Can you just tell us your teaching strategies and methods that you use to help you achieve the results that you achieve with your learners? Thank you, everyone that has been joining. Thank you. I see you all. Thank you very much. All right, so sorry. Can you tell us the teaching methods and strategies that you use with your learners to
Okay,
help
for
them
preschoolers,
achieve the results
nowadays we understand, we have seen that a lot of children want to understand why things are how they are. So that is what should be achieved, not just teaching them what is what, but why that thing is what it is. So they should be active learners. They should be part of that learning process. A lot of hands-on discovery, allow learners discover those things themselves. So your learning, teaching should be practical, child-centered, where the children are more involved. Teaching shouldn't be abstract anymore. I think there's hardly a concept that can be taught, that cannot be taught practically. I don't think there's any concept like that. There's something that can be done to make that concept practical instead of just talking about it. And when you talk about it, you might not be able to reach every learner. So your teaching should be hands-on. Also, there's something called flipped classroom, flipped learning. Um, Teachers believe it's for older children that can go and make research. But thank God for online content, the internet. We have a lot of content about every topic, everything you want to teach. So I always advise that whatever concept is to be introduced, there is something to prepare them ahead of your lesson. Let them have an awareness. Let them have pre-knowledge of what you want to do. So when they come back to class and you're talking about it, they already have an idea. They're able to contribute to what you're doing. Are you following me? So exposing them to content before that learning really helps. You're not just talking to yourself. Whatever practical you're bringing to the table, they already know how to go about it. Also, I believe a lot in making things, how do I say it? Making the child, making it about real life, relating learning to things around them. There's no point teaching things that are far from home, things that they see every day, things that they're able to really. I'm talking about the preschool now. Preschool is about learning things that have to do with their everyday life. Then also for reading, with the older preschoolers, the basic, my main aim for that class, I feel that everything they do should be more of learning to read, because that's where every other subject area relies on. By the time they go into the grades, if they are not able to read to a certain level, not just read, but read with comprehend, and be able to comprehend what they read, they struggle a lot. Yes, they struggle a lot. So I try to help learners read at that age. And reading doesn't just, teachers just expose them to letter sounds, blending, without introducing simple comprehension to those passages. I believe, as for example, if you are using the Jolly Phonics, as you blend, I expect that simple reading passages, simple reading lines are given, so that as they read, they comprehend, even with pictures. So as they read, they comprehend, and they're able to relate to what they're reading. Because some words, when you blend, some words don't have meaning, or not meaning per se, but those words are not words that they're able to relate to in their environment. Yeah. So
they are not phonic.
Yes, you have to relate those words
so they are like
to things that they understand. That is why reading should come with comprehension. There are a lot of materials now to teach reading at different stages. So whatever learning is taking place, I feel it should be made real. It should not just be abstract.
Thank you very much. So you said that you should encourage curiosity and then make it make it real and not abstract. Like
Yes.
the children should be able to relate with everything around them. They should see learning. Learning is not just about the classroom. Learning is not just about when I'm in school. Learning is everything around you. How can you relate those concepts that you're learning in the classroom to the things around you? So when I was talking about enrichment activities, and I mentioned that when I was teaching year 4 to 6, and I taught erosion, and I related it to their baking soap at home, it sunk like very deep. They were able to relate with it easily without. So somebody like that may not remember the
Yes.
Specific definition of erosion,
Yes.
but the person understands the concept of erosion. And if the person writes for me in exam, like when soap is melting and all that, do you understand? I know that the person was able to relate with erosion or able to relate with the things around him or her. So that is what we should make learning about. Learning should be not just about the classroom. Learning should not start and end in the classroom. So another example, because you mentioned something about reading, and I'm just trying to relate it. So another example is when we had our Saturday reading classes, and one boy came and he saw the setup, and he was like, no, I don't want to. Like, he just saw like, oh, this is another school again. And I said, no, it's not another school. So you're not in school again. He said, is this a school? I said, no, it's not a school. It's a reading club and all that. And then he was just so settled. Why was that? Because he did not take the learning outside of the classroom. He just saw that any setup that reminds him of the classroom, just that, so it of work, yeah. So it becomes a big deal. Like, no, it doesn't want to work. And then in that reading center, do you know that we did an activity where the children were supposed to write, each of them read about a specific sports hero, and then they were supposed to write like summary of what they read about the sports hero they read about. Do you know that this boy chose to make a drawing, a painting of what he read about instead of writing story and all that? That was how he could express his own self from what he read.
That shows that he learned.
So that's, sorry? That shows that he learned. Do you understand? It's not until he starts to now start writing the sentences and all that. His sister was able to write the sentence. That's the difference. That his sister is different from him. His own way of expressing what he learned from the story was in drawing and painting. And that was very, very okay. It showed that he learned. And then when you talked about, you also mentioned something about reading. And I've always advocated for reading the right way. So when people hear reading, they think about, oh, jolly phonics, you just carry book, or have a library and all that. That's reading. Reading is beyond that. You see, this thing about comprehension that you mentioned is very, very important in the sense that a lot of children struggle with mathematics because of comprehension issues. Exactly. When you put the figures, 1 + 1 is equal to, they can do it. But by the time you start saying, I have 1 apple and Shehu gave me another apple, how many apples do I have altogether? It becomes a problem. It's still the same thing, but just that you're not representing it in figures. You're representing it with letters and words, right? So it now becomes a bit harder. And where does that come in? From the problem of reading comprehension. So you can see that there's a cross-curricular interference in reading, literacy, and mathematics and all that. So all these subject areas, they relate. When we start relating them with each other, intertwining them, it makes the learning easier and it makes us achieve better goals and better results. So I like how you brought this up, especially with preschool, because I know, sometimes people just, preschoolers cannot read and all that. But we start with picture reading. Can you show them a picture and ask them to interpret that picture to you? Would they be able to interpret the picture? Can they talk about the picture? Can they express what they're seeing in that picture? It starts from that picture reading, being able to identify, and going beyond it being a book, identify the things that they see around them. Can they identify things? Can they name things around them? They now take it a step further. They begin to relate the letters that they're learning and the sounds that they're learning to those things, the pictures that they can see. Then they are building their words and all that, and then they're taking it one step to the other, and it goes like that. So
there was something you mentioned about
very like
a boy
very,
and his sister. The boy was able to draw his thoughts about the thing, yes, and his sister was able to write the sentences. That's another thing teachers need to put into consideration, that every child is different and they will approach different challenges, different situations in different ways.
Yeah.
So we have to make room for all of them. Make sure that all of them are catered for. Everyone is catered for and no one is left behind. Imagine we keep demanding only sentences. That boy that is able to draw his thoughts and his understanding might be left behind and maybe tagged a low achiever or a slow learner. Meanwhile, he might understand that concept more than those people that are writing out the sentences. Just because he is not willing to write or is unable to use words, rather, but would prefer to draw, he's tagged a slow learner or someone that is unwilling to participate in activities in class.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So over to the next question. You mentioned something about when you want to do more, and some teachers just feel like, your own is too much. So now I have a question in that regard. So how do you maintain a positive and engaging classroom and learning environment?
Sorry, I didn't get that. I'm sorry.
So please, how do you maintain a positive and engaging classroom and learning environment?
Okay, and that's despite all the doing too much and all the talk. Okay, the first thing is knowing the reason why you are doing the things you are doing.
Yes.
You have to remind yourself of that every day. Are you doing it because of the feedback you get, or you're doing it because of what you want to achieve? You have to realize that. Also, like we tell people, you have to affirm to yourself every day that you can, because that's where the positivity starts from. You remind yourself every day, it's not too much. Tell yourself the things you want to achieve. Remind yourself, speak to yourself of the things you want to achieve. And also, once you start, don't stop until you have gotten to where you want to get to. Unless someone else is able to convince you of a better way to do those things. If there's no better way, then you keep at what you're doing. People, it will always come in some people will encourage you, some will discourage you, but you have to continue. And when we keep at this, unknown to us, these traits pass on to our learners. When they see that you're always positive about these things, they are positive too, and you see them affirm to themselves, and they achieve much more than even you expect them to achieve. So I think reminding yourself of your goals, making your goals plain, is one way to go about it.
Thank you very, very much. So now, I know that before you came here, you had to feed your baby, to get ready and all that. So far, how have you been able to balance your teaching profession with your personal life as a mother?
Planning. You have to plan. You have to plan. You're thinking about, as it is now, I already know how I want my Monday to look like. I know the time I want to get up. I know the things I want to do. I've packed ahead. So any little time you one has, just do the little you can do. And the most important thing is to have to be stable mentally, because it can be draining. It can be draining psychologically, mentally. You're used to just waking up in the morning, pick your bag and go where you're going to alone, all alone. You're not coming back to anybody. You can stay at work till you like and do whatever you want to do. But now there are more demands. So you have to tell yourself consciously every day. Affirmations still help. Talk to yourself, help yourself. Accept every help you can accept. Ask for help whenever you can ask for. But plan ahead. Know the things you want. Do important things. Do important things. You cannot do it all. That's one thing that you should know. You cannot do it all. No matter the little you can do, you're still a super mom, you're still a super teacher, and there has to be balance. You cannot do too much on any side. There has to be balance.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now, moving on to the next question. What do you think is the most rewarding aspect of the profession?
Achieving your aim, because it's definitely not the money. It's definitely not the money. Um, it's not making your boss happy, because some bosses are hardly ever happy with whatever you do. They just find a way to still kick against whatever you do or bring your morale down. But I think the happiest part for me is seeing that you have achieved the set targets and you are convinced that you did your part and you did it well.
Okay. Thank you very much. So now, lastly, has teaching
Of course,
impacted your personal growth
of
and outlook to life?
course,
Personally,
teaching us patience
as a
and
profession.
tolerance. Patience and
So tell
tolerance.
us.
I'll say it again.
Tell us.
Patience and tolerance. That's taught me that a lot. I know where I'm coming from and I know where I am now. So, as we're working with preschoolers, those are two things you will need. As in, you need to have them in surplus and look for people to give you more patience and tolerance. Then also, when you as a teacher, whether you like it or not, you have to set goals. By planning your lesson is setting a goal. You have what you want to achieve at the end of the term, at the end of the year, at the end of the week. Those goals. Unconsciously, you see yourself setting goals for yourself too. It affects your life personally. You just see yourself, okay, at this time I want to achieve, at this time I want to achieve this. And the same way you consciously work towards achieving those goals for your learners, you work towards those goals you've set for yourself.
All right. Thank you. Hello. Okay. All right. We're back. Thank you very much. Okay. So now, final words. What are the final words for upcoming teachers or teachers in preschool that may be struggling to have a balance on, okay, so what am I doing now, or what can I do better, or teachers that feel overwhelmed with the whole profession, day-to-day life and all that. So what are your final words
I
for
would
us
encourage
in
every teacher out there,
this season?
don't look at how it is now, just keep at it. And one thing we should also know is education, just like everything else, education is evolving, it's getting better. There are things that in the nearest future will not happen anymore, and there are some things that will still come on board. So keep yourself abreast of the happenings. Network, collaborate, speak to people. You can learn from anybody. You can learn from anybody. And it's very dangerous when you now get to a position where you feel you know it all already. A popular quote says, when you stop to learn, you start to die. So as teachers, you keep learning and keep being better at what you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I don't know if anybody has any question. Anybody, any question for our guest? Quickly, anybody, any question for our guest? They said patience and tolerance has really, really helped and things that she has done in our life also, generally, not just in the profession. She has seen that where she is now, definitely, is not how she started, but there's a constant and continuous growth in personal life and in the profession. And then you need to constantly keep learning. You need to keep learning. You need to network. You need to be involved in what is going on in the profession. So there are changes, there are things that are happening in the profession, and the profession is evolving. So you need to evolve with the time and with the system, so that you will not be left behind. A lot of people are going online now and are earning in dollars in the profession. So if you stay there and you just want to continue to remain that local champion, I'm sorry, you will just remain where you are. So you need to keep moving and evolve with the system. And then you need to don't stop affirm to yourself all the time. Very, very important. The things that you want to achieve, you need to continually affirm it to yourself. And when your learners see this positivity in you, it also helps your learners to become positive. Right, so someone says, though I joined late, but I learned the part of tolerance and patience as a retirement character for in-service teacher, or as a requirement character for in-service teachers. Yes, patience and tolerance, very, very important, because there are times that you are teaching, like when she mentioned about a particular student that has been teaching, and it just seemed like the student was not learning, but learning was taking place. It's just that you were not seeing the result at that time. So by the time the learner was ready to show that I have been learning, it's just that I didn't want to let you know that I've been learning. Then that learner just came and boom, started downloading and displaying everything. So you see, if you don't have patience, you just start. It's just like that, the analogy where there are two miners who were digging, and one got to one point and turned around, while the other one continued until it got to the gold. So you just have to keep digging. You just have to continue at it. That is where the patience and the tolerance come, and it comes with a lot of guts. You need to constantly affirm to yourself that you can do it, and you need to be in the right state of mind. So mental health is very, very important. Mental health, that's where we talk about the balancing. And how do you balance yourself? By planning. You plan for the days to come. You plan for your home front. You plan for, because as a female educator, especially one with children, so you see, that freedom that you had when you were not yet married and you were going about that, you can stay in school till whenever. Now you have responsibilities at home that cannot allow you to stay to school till whenever. No matter how much you want to effect a change, you cannot afford to allow your home front to suffer. So the same way you are putting in effort in your work, you also need to put in effort in your home, so that there is that balance and everybody is happy and you're moving on with your life. Because if your profession, you're moving, but at home you're not moving, you will still not be a happy person. It will affect you no matter what. And that is where the mental health thing begins to come. But once there's that balance, you put in effort here, you put in effort there, and you try to get a balance. You know when to rest. Rest is very important. You know when to rest when rest is needed, and you know when to work extra when working extra is needed. So thank you very much, our guests. If someone is just joining, thank you everyone that has joined. We've had a lot of people join here. I've had people like what is going on here. So thank you everyone. Thank you for our guests. We don't want to keep you longer so that you do not start crying and all that, because I know you have to feel that before starting so that there won't be any interference and disturbance. So we cannot afford to. Sorry? You can hear her crying. You see, we cannot afford to keep you any longer. Thank you very much for all the nuggets, all the juices that you've given us today. We really, really appreciate you for your time. Thank you everyone that has joined. We really, really appreciate you for joining. And just in case you want to go back to rewatch this for people who joined in late or who couldn't join in at all today, you can just go to Mary the Millionaire Teacher on YouTube to catch up with previous episodes and even this episode. And please, while you are catching up on the episode, remember to subscribe to our channel. We love you. Thank you very much, and keep at it. Thank you very much to our guests. We love you for coming and sharing with us. Thank you. All right, so bye everyone. Take care. Bye.